Hello and welcome to Get the Table, a wrestling roundtable discussion podcast with myself, Michael Sidgwick, and fellow Dadley boy, Michael Hamflett. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube for daily wrestling podcasts where we preview and review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, Dynamite pay-per-views, premium live events. We have wrestling discussions just like this one, question and answer time. We have wrestler interviews on occasion as well, and we host a roundup of the week, not this week, complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. Now, Hamflett,
yeah,
we've got the bug.
We sure do.
To a degree.
Yeah.
Last week, we fantasy booked the ultimate AEW versus WWE supercard. And this week, because we've got the fantasy booking bug, it would seem we're going to do something similar for WrestleMania 42. Now, obviously, an AEW versus WWE supercard is not remotely viable. It just simply would never happen. This would... And this gives us an opportunity to put our money where our mouth is. And I have this anti-Levesque agenda. And I think he's a terrible booker. Well, I mean, that's a total lie. Let's not be, ridiculous. He is a very competent and effective booker. Otherwise, he would not be currently overseeing this huge period of WWE popularity, even if, there's declines. But it's difficult to call it declines when the attendances recently have been incredible.
Yeah.
WrestleMania will inevitably draw incredible, if not record revenues. But, I find him dry. I feel like he plays it safe. I feel like the defining thread of... These are his... 50% of his WrestleManias at this point, you could say, are kind of defined by political compromise and cowardice and not wanting certain wrestlers to interact because he wants to save them and he's scared. Mate, it's WrestleMania. It's the time to do it. This year there's talk and conjecture of him, what he built at War Games and what he sort of foreshadowed at the conclusion of that show ain't what we're getting. So there's something in that. Basically, this is a long-winded way of saying, can we do better?
I think, we enjoy football analogies and football cliches.
Yes.
In this realm.
I really can't be bothered to press the button.
This is that when the commentators have that cliche in the second half of the all-important fourth goal. I would say Triple H is narrowly 2-1 up. 39, me and you both agree, the best WrestleMania ever?
Best Mania ever, provided that you watch it in the context of Cody ends up finishing the story.
Yeah.
If he doesn't finish the story, it's not the best one ever.
Yeah. So, but as a result, because he does, I would say, oh, hang on, he's taking a quick 2-0 lead here.
WrestleMania 39 is goated.
39 is goated. 40, the vibes are impeccable, and he gets enough right in terms of everything else to complete almost what he started with WrestleMania 39.
Yeah.
So he's like taking an early 2-goal lead, but then 41, unexpectedly, has got a goal against the run of play, really. Yeah. 41, Cena versus Cody. This is going to be 3-0, home and nosed. 2-1. He's nervous now. There's a 40, WrestleMania 42 is either his third goal. He can kind of relax at 3-1 or...
Love going up 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1's nice, isn't it? 2-2. How's this happened? We were 2-0 up, and now it's 2-2. I'm saying we. It's almost like refer to my sports team, but that does feel like what this WrestleMania is. It's either 3-1 or 2-2 for Triple H this year.
Honestly, I've tried not to let football get me down this year as much, right? And it is hard because it just gets you whether you want to or not. But it would have been about the 22nd of December. I think we're just broken up for Christmas here at WhatCulture Towers and whatnot. And I think the Saturday immediately afterwards, we had a lovely family day planned where we were going to the Panto. We're going to go to the Christmas market, get a nice mulled cider, go to the Panto, and then go for like a really nice pizza afterwards. It's like a full day of like, you can't really be naughty or pushy or... otherwise annoying. Sorry, kids, if you ever see this in the future.
It's Christmas rules.
On a day like that, it's Christmas rules, right? It turns out it was a wonderful day. The only thing that spoiled it was kind of me, but I didn't really, because we go on the Metro. This is by the by. I don't even know why I'm saying it. It's just in my head now, and I need to get it out. But on your analogy, we Triple H'd it. So I had a nice mulled cider. I think about 11:45 actually, but it's Christmas. Who cares?
Yeah.
Went to the Panto. I love the Panto. I love how it all unravels. And like by the end of the Panto, the idea of innuendo, which is the sort of thing that the adults can enjoy and then the kids can enjoy this like this ridiculous spectacle. And the budget at the Theatre Royal for these things now is quite incredible. And they just abandon all pretense of like the innuendo and just outright start saying filth. I just really find it funny. And then as we were heading into back into the play after intermission, it's like the signal was just terrible. Terrible. Click onto BBC Sport, and the front page reads, Walter Marder doubles Newcastle lead. Right? And I'm looking, and I'm like, it's only been like 30 minutes. It's like, get in.
Yeah.
Lovely family day. Christmas is around the corner, and I mostly love Christmas, despite its attendant problems and hassle and tasks. Like, bloody hell, tune her up. I'm having a really good time at the theatre. I'm getting an incredible pizza after this.
I mean, I'm going to have to guess where this is going.
You know, well,
I can't remember the game, but 2-2?
2-2, yeah. There's an absolutely unwanted Desmond.
That's all I
couldn't even get something. I'm like, please. I'm a bit nervous, but like, I'm quite happy, and it's only the football. That can't affect me on a lovely day like this.
Double conditional killjoy, because your theatre experience is slightly tarnished and you're less excited for your pizza.
No, so I go into the second half. So at least I've enjoyed all that.
Yeah.
And I'm not checking the score when I'm on, even if I had signal. And I'm like, as soon as it's finished, right, love that. Yeah. To score. Then I overheard someone go 2-2. I'm like, and then my pizza was ruined.
Yeah.
So no one likes a 2-2. So this podcast is designed to avoid a 2-2.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is bit of ground rules, okay? We have to base this in reality to an extent. By that, certain wrestlers are off the table, like those contracted to AEW.
Yep.
For me, it's like even those who they could feasibly get but wouldn't.
Yep.
Or the wrestlers themselves wouldn't be interested. Like, I don't know, like a Goldberg off the table for me anyway. I've tried to keep it within the realms of reality insofar as there are matches that obviously I think would be good, hence why I've pitched them. Matches that I'm not even that much of a believer of, but I can see them going for. So that's kind of the vague outline, premise, whatever here. I'm going to do night one. Hamflett's going to do night one. Then I'll do night two. Then Hamflett will do night two. Fun to see if there's any crossover.
Yes, I expect there'll be some.
We'll explain my reasoning for the matches. If there's any idea for the storyline, that we'll probably try and input that as well. See if there's any crossover. And what we want you to do, the listeners, come viewers, either on X at WhatCulture WWE or in the comments below on YouTube. Who's got the best card? Just one more fight. Bit of Dudley Boy's Law. We once sang that to one another's faces at karaoke.
Yeah. Real moment of clarity, that, wasn't it?
Real moment of nice clarity about our friendship, I thought.
And let us know your fantasy WrestleMania cards.
Of course, yes.
It's that time of year, isn't it? Rumble's out the way now. Chamber's still to go, but this is the point at which everybody starts circling around their prospective dream WrestleMania matches, which is, I'll get to mine in a bit, but that was the thing I found most challenging about this, if I'm honest. As the resident,
did you find most challenging? Sorry, I was just going through my card.
As the resident Fedhead and somebody that has proudly been in favour of 2026 WWE, I found this a more challenging prospect than I imagined I would have done, just because of where the pieces on the board currently are.
It's not just some fantasy daft crap, is it? It's a reflection of, right, you can do it within the realms of reality, but it's still fantasy. You can make it as good as you want, but at the end of the day, or as good as you're capable of doing, but at the end of the day, you're still using characters in a TV show and trying to place them into interesting scenarios. But if they're not interesting characters, then that becomes increasingly difficult. Like, as I said, we give ourselves a challenge with this kind of thing. If it's rubbish or not as good as other people's or whatever, sorry, it's not really our domain. Not something that we've ever professed to do. We just thought, why not try it? Yeah. Because I think it is an interest. It's not like a futile, although that's not going to ever happen thing. I don't think it's futile. I think it is an interesting way of approaching an analysis of the product, because when you cannot put characters in interesting scenarios, even in the realms of fantasy, that's a reflection of the booking. Correct. You know? So should we do this one night? Sorry.
Night one.
Night one. Jesus Christ.
Let's do it.
Right, my night one card is as follows. Obviously, we'll discuss it. You'll say if it's good or not, or terrible or not. I'm sure I'll do that for yours as well. See if there's any crossover. Right. Again, realms of reality. I have gone for 7 matches on each night. I think that is a sweet spot generally for pay-per-view. I know a lot of this is colored by like the kind of thing I liked when I was younger and the kind of thing I can stomach now being 40 and, you know, it being British, and either side that you make the decision, you're going to result in minimal sleep. Either you get up early to watch it or you stay up late to watch it. So for my personal age, and you know what, I've got a bit of a rant brewing on this, and I might repeat it the next time we preview Revolution. This is just a rant tangent about AEW on a WWE fantasy booking pod. I'm sorry. Rangent. I was thinking about this, you know, and it is relevant to why I think 7 is a sweet spot. And it might be an age thing and a personal bias thing, but it's my fantasy, so I'll do what I want. You know what drives me nuts? And I wish I'd made this point before. And in fact, I'm going to make it now and in the future about AEW pay-per-view discourse gate.
Yeah.
Is that I don't know what some people's problem is. You know, and I always find ways to be right in my head.
Yeah.
Found another one.
Okay.
I don't understand why it's even that much of a discussion. And to be fair, maybe I'm wrong on this because the pay-per-view numbers, and you know, it happens, and I don't mind being wrong. I really don't. I'm not that kind of dickhead. And maybe the pay-per-view buy data, which, you know, is what it is. It's not like it's not as if they come public with it. No. Seems to contradict what I'm about to say, and maybe the quality of the show is such that what I'm about to complain about doesn't matter, and maybe people will buy it with the trade-off of, yeah, I'm not going to be into every single match, but whatever. I'd rather every match was good and it was perfect, but what have you. AEW, the origin story of AEW is that people within the 18 to 49 demo, the most prized demo in television, started to just drift away from WWE because famously in the mid to late 2010s, the plot was lost. The worms had infested Vince McMahon's brain. So much of it was terrible. Not just terrible in like lame, nonsensical, what are we doing here? How could I possibly take this seriously when the guy writing this appears to have forgotten his own storylines or just dropped interest in them? It was like antagonistic. It was every version of bad WWE in the late 2010s. And yet at the same time, in parallel, it got these incredible TV deals because streaming was on the rise. The cable industry was dying. Streaming at the time, it's experimenting with this now. I know Amazon Prime does it. God damn it, do I hate that. But now it's like it's a new kind of splintered cable, really, because adverts are happening on streaming. But at the time, when these rights fees were starting to go massively ballooned up, it was like streaming was the best option. It's cheaper and I get no adverts. Class, I'll just do that instead of cable. So the advertisement industry was like, well, this ain't good. We need TV. TV needs us. It's symbiotic. Christ, well, what else are people still watching? Live sports, money through, money through, money through. Wrestling gets categorized as it. So it's like, well, there's a berth now opening up for a competitor. And this is one of the many reasons why AEW was able to get off the ground, and it helped that it wasn't TNA. It didn't have a stigmatized, terrible name in pro wrestling. Jericho, Omega was getting hot with BT. Like, that was all the convergence, right? But the main thing was there are people in the demo, right? The 55-year-olds, advertisers didn't really care about them as much, and and one of the reasons why is they're just locked in. If you're watching Pedro Morales, right, at a young age, you're not going to find Kenny Omega or Chris Jericho or Hangman Page interesting, right? I am making a point here with the 7 matches, trust me, even though I'm just doing it for kind of no reason at this point. But it struck me now, this thought. Mainly, the idea was WWE had sucked for years and years and years and years, but there's a lure to WrestleMania. A lot of your favorite wrestlers, if you've gone on a different path with your wrestling fandom, like Ring of Honor or whatever, were eventually signed by WWE, like Punk and Bryan. There was always something about WWE that you would tolerate, hate, watch, or if you were still of a certain age and mindset, I might still get better, right? The older you went, people kind of watched it knowing, oh, it ain't going to get any better, but God, I love big-time American wrestling. I'm going to still watch it and what have you. And AEW presented itself as an alternative to that millennial fan, and you can tell by the kind of things that they promised at launch. You haven't seen blood regularly since, the mid to late 2000s. You're going to get that back. You haven't had, like, younger, technical, fast, high-flying wrestlers push since the cruiserweight division in WCW. You're going to get good matches on telly, probably. Yeah. You're going to get, like, actual fast matches where the wrestlers can kind of have license to do what they want. We haven't seen that in years and years and years. AEW was basically, are you a lapsed, jaded WWE fan of millennial age? Give this a try, right? The lapsed, it's all the stuff that you've missed from the time when you stopped watching in the early 2000s or later on or whatever. If AEW aggressively targeted the millennial-aged fan who, it's not the Attitude Era fan, it's the guy or the gal, mainly the guy looking to do the book, who was like, sick of WWE. I'm going to keep watching it. I'm going to stop watching it. Oh, this AEW stuff's good. It's good, this. I'm 35 and I want some wrestling that feels more grown up to me. Well, guess what? The 35-year-olds who were AEW aimed at and tried to get to watch are now 40. They now have responsibilities. They now probably have children. And if not, when you reach this age, you just get tired more generally. Is it so crazy that that fan will probably think, 4 hours of this again every month? Because I don't think it's crazy at all.
Yeah. And WWE would always get chastised for constantly doing stuff that would intend to target young people. Always use the cigarettes analogy. You hook kids young, there's a chance you hook them forever. Yeah. That's me for the fact. Cena was the gateway for millions, literally millions, and it was the right move strategically. Sorry that's boring. And so Roman Reigns was a failed attempt at that, but the goal was, can we do that again? Can we get this generation of kids in on the Roman Reigns diet? Cody Rhodes has absolutely worked for my kids. Cody Rhodes has been there. He's understood that as the QB1 and all that. Like, it's smart. You got to make brand new.
But then AEW was smart in turn, because I know this is turning into a different podcast. We will get to WrestleMania eventually. So I think what happened with the split in the audience, which AEW took advantage of and WWE tried but ultimately failed to do with NXT, is that if you're 40 like Hamflett and myself, you are uniquely positioned to watch and grow up with WWE because, and it gets a bit crude, you're 6 or 7, 8 years old and you see the WrestleMania 6 video and you're like, it's a shared experience with me and Hamflett. Wow, that's the best thing I've ever seen. Watch it, fall in love with it. Then, this was not deliberate, but it just worked out this way. All right, you can't take steroids anymore because the feds are on our ass. Okay, well, we'll have to kind of go with Brett, Shawn, the technical, smaller wrestlers who don't need the physiques to be able to become stars necessarily.
Great bodies, by the way.
Great bodies still. Great bodies still. But if you were like the kind of fan who watched WWE, WWF obviously at the time, but were like, yeah, Hogan's great and Warrior's great, but I love Marty Jannetty, me, Bret Hart, Bret Hart, and like, I love the wrestling as well as just all of it. Like, I love all of it. The undercard, the great matches, not just these main event superstar attractions. Inadvertently, because at the time when there was like the locker room was getting raided, the people thought in the industry, the whole thing's done.
Yeah.
The whole thing's going to die. Meanwhile, I've got nerds like me and Hamflett going, I'll spend more money on this than ever.
It's never been better, if anything.
You're pushing Bret hard. So then that sort of WWF of the 90s kind of appeals to the person who just actually likes wrestling and stuff. Then, in 1998, and people like me and Hamflett are turning 13, this is cool, KEWL. And there's big tits and blood, and I can tell my teacher to suck it.
That's correct.
Through to Generation X. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this is going to grow up with me forever. It'll always be there for me, the Fed.
Correct.
And then, who's this John Cena geek?
Where's my wrestlers?
Yeah, dude, where's my wrestlers?
Yeah.
And then, that's when the chasm starts and the modern story of wrestling is written. But now there's a new thing where I'm 40. Good, don't need WWE anymore. I've got AEW. Excellent. We should all be happy. None of us should talk endlessly every single day about how the other one's bad or good because we've got our own thing.
Human nature, huh?
Anyway, so that's a very long-winded way of saying 7's just fine for me. I'm 40, and guess what? AEW made this monster.
Yeah.
You're the one who wanted me. You wanted my money. You wanted the 40-year-old wrestling fan. You got him. He's tired, and he doesn't want to watch 11-match, 4.5-hour epics every month.
Perfect card length.
Thank you very much.
Perfect card length is 7, by the way.
It is. Hence why, and without further ado, I will run down my 7-night card for WrestleMania Night 1. Right, it has to be realistic, but it also has to be good. That's the intersection that we are aiming for here.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I want some names on the card, you'll notice a theme here. I am sick of kind of both main event scenes in the two companies, AEW and WWE. I want the new generation, okay, to be elevated to the top of the card. And I found various means by which to do that on my fantasy booking card. So, one of my favorite things about WrestleMania 39, the WrestleMania GOAT, was that element of surprise of finding ways to get the rank and file, the wrestlers who are very talented, but you're not depending on them to generate interest, to get a spot on the card after all the good work that they've done throughout the year, right? The tag team showcases, the men's more so than the women's, if I'm being honest, I found absolutely a wonderful, wonderful relief from endless ladder matches, even though I might have one.
Same.
Yeah, you can't help it, can you?
Oh, you cannot.
You cannot help it.
The old mid-2000s give everybody a payday.
Yeah, now you want one even if you deny it. As soon as they start crashing through those bastards, you do want ladders on the show.
It's in the stadium as well. That helps. A daylight stadium ladder match.
I know.
Why is that different?
I don't know. Why does it feel more brutal?
40 guys out there.
Yeah.
Summit.
It just feels like they're more exposed.
What's Ambrose going to do?
Yeah. Why they're headbutting each other so hard, you know? It does.
Summit.
There's something extra brutal
we
about
like that,
it. I agree.
That DIY pilled SummerSlam one. We loved it.
Anna, fantastic.
Them.
I think we turned face on ladder matches because wrestling has indeed calmed down.
Yeah, true. Actually, yeah.
So even though I might have another one, I haven't got two. And I love the tag team showcases. I don't know why. Ultimately, it's just a 4-way tag match, and some of them have sucked in WrestleMania lore, like WrestleMania 18.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Ugh.
For whatever reason, maybe it was just the feeling surrounding WWE. They just worked. So for that basis, I'm going to do one apiece, and the women kick it off on night 1. Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez versus the Bella Twins because of the star power alone. And Raw was a bit terrible, but they're always going to be over. Versus Asuka and Kairi Sane versus... And there's going to be some qualifiers on all 3 shows to get to the showcase. Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair.
Nice.
Like, I know the whole point is, like, you have to be wary of, like, 2000s message board brain, where it's as simple as, well, if you put, you know, like, low key on WrestleMania and have him beat the streak, he's going to be the next main eventer for 20 years.
That's how that works.
I know that's not how it works. However, when you have a talent like Kendall Gray, who is generational, like somewhat like some kind of horrible injury luck, or some kind of like promotional malpractice, or her losing interest would have to happen. Because if you've got a dialed in, healthy, progressively improving Kendall Gray in your company, and she isn't a multi-time wrestler, you should be sick of her in 10 years. That's how good she is.
Yeah.
And WrestleMania is the show on which, you know, matches are better automatically because they're on WrestleMania. Performances are better automatically because they are at WrestleMania. Interest is higher because it's at WrestleMania. Kendall Gray, if people just watch her for the first time and she gets highlighted in the showcase, even the name, that's a showcase match. Oh, well, they're getting showcased. That means they're going to be the main eventer for the next however many years. Oh, we should pay attention. Like, WrestleMania's got this grip on people, and fair play for how they've managed to do that over the years. You put Kendall Gray in a match like that, or any kind of match on WrestleMania, and just let her do her thing for 5 minutes, you could create a sensation.
I like that.
Yeah,
I've got something similar kicking around night 2, but it's just different enough.
Okay.
We'll return to that in my night 2.
All right, okay.
Just different enough.
Right, for the women's title... Yeah. It's going to be epic. But I didn't endure these epic bacon face-offs for nothing earlier this year. It's Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer.
Interesting. Okay.
I think the Goon Squad will come out in force.
Yeah.
I think that to a degree it is a bit of the best babyface wrestlers come out and have a match at WrestleMania, but you can sort of justify it at WrestleMania.
Yep.
I can't imagine the story would be any good. In fact, I would resent it happening because they would just do epic bacon faces at each other for the entire build. But is it time now? And this is a serious question as well. Is it time for like Rhea to start doing jobs now? Is she already at that level? Because she's been the top star in this WWE Women's Division for what feels like the entire decade so far.
Yeah.
If you track the story from from WrestleMania 36 to now 42, 6 years of the rise. It's 6 because the rise started in 2020.
Yep.
With that, if you want to be charitable, that New Japan style, oh, you failed at the first big show, but then that's the story of your career. You need to learn to win at the big show before you become a star. Rhea has done that. 6 years is a long time. We talk a lot about Jesus Christ. And again, it's different for the 40-year-old fan. Like, we've had to endure through the Monopoly main event runs that are too long, far too long. Like, is Rhea Ripley's becoming too long?
Maybe. I get what you're saying.
She's still young, though.
Yeah. I have got her quite substantially factored in night one. So I can't now say, yeah, get her out of the main event, whatever. But it's an interesting point. I personally think she will factor in significantly this year, but it's certainly a worthwhile conversation going into next year. Like, she's changed.
She's not as over as she was this time last year.
Well, she's not as over, but I still personally believe that Triple H will see her as his, he's got his Cody Punk Gunther triumvirate.
Yes.
His kind of like men's division soldiers. I think he kind of sees Rhea and Io as those two figures currently. So it's all about breaking into that really until the perception is that you're any different. I was worried, as we've talked about recently, gang, that we lost Rhea Ripley. I feel as though a move into the more dramatic, I don't want to say a move into the more dramatic story-driven stuff, because a lot of the stuff with Dom and Liv the year prior was that. But the move into it with Io Sky definitely seemed to strip away the need for it to be this like ultimate ass kicker.
Yeah.
She dialed that back up. And I wonder if this is her starting to work smart and understand what makes the most sense of WrestleMania season versus what you can do outside of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she has started to realize, if I'm this perfect packaged Rhea Ripley, like big star, but also a killer, I'm kind of undeniable in the WrestleMania picture. And then if you want to dick about and do some story stuff in the summer, fine.
Terribly acted.
Often.
So another note on why they could do, or why Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer could be a good idea, rather than, have this be the sort of the peak or the beginning of the end of Rhea Ripley's main event run, which could just go on and on, to be fair.
Yeah.
Instead, they could, in fact, celebrate their success with promoting the Rhea Ripley character and Rhea Ripley's performance level, which has been continually brilliant. They could deliberately frame Rhea Ripley when talking to Vaquer here as, you're me in 2020.
Yeah.
Where you think you've had all this success and you've got this inexorable, unstoppable rise to the top. Like, I hate to say this myself, but maybe I'm the new Charlotte Flair, not in as many words, but they could reference it. They could play with the idea of, Jesus Christ, Rhea Ripley's has gone massively far in the world of WWE over the past 6 years. Why don't we promote that and factor it into storylines? You might be thinking, Sidge, what about Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky? And I think, in response to that, I would say, well, I'm trying to be benevolent here. The longer they build some kind of relationship between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, keep them together in the narrative, and they can support each other's like respective quest for titles, and just keep loosely aligned on TV, they could build something that actually warrants the word we use to take the piss out of it, epic.
Yeah.
And make it almost undeniable that could be a main event.
No.
The year after.
Again, I'll keep my old powder dry on that right now, but I like the rationale very much so, because they know they've got something big in their hands. So again, it's a little bit of I often think sometimes the things people might get very frustrated about with Triple H are often things that are his biggest arguments.
Yeah.
Like, I continue to be frustrated that we haven't got to Punk Cody, but he still got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Yeah.
Io and Rhea is it's not quite on that level, but he still got it to use, isn't he, when he needs to?
I mean, they've already done it as well, so the longer you, because it was Evolution, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If you just don't do it for a while, that's the trick to make people want things Tony Khan. Next one is, I've wanted to say it for years. I have been, if you listen to these podcasts over the past months, I've developed a fixation on this stipulation in general.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually getting it soon in another company. And I think now, when you say now's the time to do it, we talk about Punk and Cody of like, you know, learn Tony Khan's lesson. There's certain matches you can't dither about, you can't delay forever. This one, I don't think you can potentially delay another day, considering one of the participants in it seems to get injured every single time he enters the ring. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, mask versus hair.
I love that because I had it and I deleted it. So it's at very least made it onto this podcast. The exact match, the exact stipulation.
Yeah.
Like, do you know why I took it off? What if Dead Man needs a fry?
Yeah.
Like, and
we've become very fond of the Dead Man.
Yeah. And it's very big Lucha Show coded.
Political leanings aside and all the rest of it.
Of course, everything that we've always ripped the piss out of the Dead Man remains in place.
Yes.
But this bizarre lore of him being this beloved booker in AAA is so funny.
Yes.
Like, you mentioned it weeks ago, and it's so true. Like, I'm glad we reference it on every podcast, because why isn't everybody referencing it on every podcast?
It's so weird.
It is mad that this has happened. And I just think that that's, along with the Americano stuff, I feel like, hey, Paul, Sean, I'm getting my Mysterio money, right?
Yep.
Right. We need it for Mania, Mark. What the? Like, flips the table, the bones go everywhere. Like,
I love him.
Bottle of Jack on the floor.
I love him as a figment of our shared imagination.
Against, like, the hipster, massively moneyed, like, super over CMLL.
Yeah.
Like,
the underdog.
Them and I'll sort that out.
The undergraveyard dog.
You've done it now.
You've done it now. I'm going to beat a monolith. I beat everything else. Look at my WrestleMania record. I mean, it just works.
It does just work.
It does just work. I mean, like, Ray could retire because, I mean, he's getting closer to the end. If he actually unmasks in the face of such a powerful moment, even though we've seen his face, Dominic is met with, like, go. Dominic is met with, like, maybe I shouldn't have been such an arsehole. And, like, is Ray versus Dom genuinely the closest WWE could get to Liz versus Savage and the reunion at WrestleMania 7? I thought that was the most moving thing I'd ever seen when I was, like, 8 years old.
It's a good. I had a different reunion, but it's the babyface one is better. I was thinking of, like, you cannot possibly put Bret and Owen Hart back together, and they did it.
Now that was heels.
But that was heels, obviously. But yeah, the babyface reunion. Dominic, like, Ray comes out for a Raw reunion special, and somebody just kicks Ray's ass, and Dom does the right thing by his dad. That's going to really mean something one day, isn't it? Like, really means, because Dominic will be a babyface one day, and a big one at that.
He's babyface in my heart. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it does. Like I say, unless you're taking it off taking food off Mark's plate.
If
like,
you've ever watched? Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, it's a big stage. It warrants a big stage, this one.
And if you've ever watched any kind of mask versus hair, the ones that actually really matter, every near fall's that much louder, drama's that much more acute. It's just like until it was bettered by WrestleMania 28, a match involving, like, the failed Brock Lesnar, Batista, John Cena, and Bobby Lashley, a guy who never really drew to the level expected, remains the focal point of the key attraction that broke and set the pay-per-view record. People were it's McMahon, really. People were desperate to see that dude get shaved bald. It's this enduring wrestling fan fascination that I'm actually staggered hasn't been drilled into the ground.
Imagine, right? You've got the match, and the longer the match goes, like, it's just like, Dominic's actually putting the work in. He's cheated at first, but now it actually becomes it's gut check time.
Yeah.
And he's actually working at this, and even Ray is kind of like, he's able to tell so many stories in there, and he's telling the story of, like, even he's kind of got this begrudging respect for how his son has become even better than he ever thought he would.
Yeah.
He's not just his large adult son anymore. He's become a guy on his own 2 feet. And Dom wins, but he's won and it's relatively clean. And like they're kind of selling the gravitas that Ray's going to pull the mask off. And even Dominic at this point is like, what have I wrought here? Like, now I'm seeing this for real.
The tinge of regret when these post-match
he's kind of wanting to do it.
Happen.
And then before he can do it, Finn and JD run out. Street trash. Yeah. They start beating down Ray. Come on, let's get the mask off him. And Dominic has like the moment of clarity and he stops them from taking Ray's mask off and he sends them packing. And like, they don't even need to deliver because we've seen Ray's face.
Yeah.
They don't even need to deliver on it and it doesn't feel like a bait and switch. The real payoff is that Dom said, leave it on, Dad.
Yeah.
Like, they retire, whatever, but leave the mask on.
And like, Dom has got the most iconic hairstyle in WWE.
Yeah.
That's not...
he's a silhouette now.
Yeah, he's a silhouette.
That's one of the things,
isn't
isn't
it? Airport test. Yeah. Absolutely. Which you wouldn't want to get rid of that, but like, that would be the point. It's like, you can't get rid of that.
Yeah.
They're not going to, are they? I will pay to watch this match.
Love it.
Right. This is based on comments Roman made recently on McAfee, and I thought it's very WCW 2000 this, and it doesn't tend to work. We've seen it with AEW over the last 7 years. Nice idea for a match, story, whatever. It isn't the same as, oh, this guy's getting on a bit. This younger guy is getting over. If he beats the older guy, then that's wrestling booking solved.
Yeah.
However, I needed Roman on the card, even though I don't think he's that great, but WWE fans do. But it was interesting. And I think Trick Williams, who was his opponent in this match, Roman Reigns versus Trick Williams, would be so great at just going, hang on. Come on, baby dick. Like,
oh my God.
Like, you're asking people to get over. I was born over. It took you 6 years. Like, just going, look at me. I'm more over in 2 minutes than you were in 6 years. Like,
Tell me
what the hell are you talking about? Like, they could really pull off the idea. It's showbiz, this.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't necessarily like it. The breaking, the blurring the lines between. I'm better at performing than you are. I always prefer it when it's like it's just two people who hate each other. But if you're going to tell that story and just hard-coded into wrestling's modern DNA, Trick Williams and Roman Reigns could tell it. Trick Williams, the idea being like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. There's no stars here. Look at me, bitch. I'm Trick Willie. And I just think, like, Roman's clearly lost interest. He's very, like, nakedly just doing the last match as he can before doing the Lesnar stuff. He feels like the next Lesnar and that, oh, you're back, I don't care.
So I love it. I'll say it now. My Night 2 main event is the current real-life Night 2 main event. I'm pitching to you now. Blow up Punk and Roman to get to Roman and Trick instead. Does your card do that? Or have you just binned it? Have you just binned actual real-life Roman and Punk match?
Oh, yeah, I don't have that.
You don't have that?
No.
That's fine. All right,
I've got Roman Reigns versus Trick Williams.
All right.
For the semi-main. And the main event is probably a year too soon, realistically. But it's hard. Booking's harder than you think. I've got Gunther versus Obafemi for the world title.
Ooh.
In my alternate timeline, Gunther, who's essentially the top heel on Raw, has the belt. And they never give it to Punk. And they just do Gunther versus Jey Uso at Saturday night's main event instead of Punk versus Jey Uso, because Punk's done a really good job with this world title, and it feels like it was about time he got one. But there's a certain main event I have in mind for night 2. That means that I'm like, Obafemi here, and I know I'm impatient, and I know it probably wouldn't solve many things ultimately, but that Yokozuna pitch we have of like, what if someone just comes in and just wins the lot and just becomes this, oh Christ, like the Luke Littler. Don't know why he came into mind when I was talking about Yokozuna, but just that, oh God, well that's it. That's a dynasty forged instantly that everyone's going to have to dread and run from it. Doesn't matter for the next however many years. The world has changed. Didn't really work really because Yoko wasn't a big draw, but then nothing was going to really change the WWS fortunes.
The narrative world changed.
But like the narrative world of like, Christ, this feels fresh. This feels like it can't be changed. Obafemi could be it.
If you think about like Survivor Series 92, he gets a routine win over Virgil, all right? Within 12 months, he's setting up to wrestle The Undertaker because he's defeated Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, and he's got the measure of Lex Luger.
Yeah.
That's as world-changing a run as you can have in a 12-month span at that time, isn't it? You know?
And the WWF is so creatively interesting around 93, 94.
Yeah.
That's my night one card.
See, there's more commitment to like Ultimate Fantasy than mine.
Yes.
That's
fine. Different fantasies, different needs.
Different cards, different needs.
Twins probably. I'm just watching.
But there is an overlap which we'll get to later on. But then there's also a bit of overlap in discussion, right? So I'm trying to think about how to present this card to you. I tell you what,
I'll go from the opener to the main event.
I'll come in hot. All right, I'll come in hot. I hate, in particular, the SmackDown tag division. Hence why I'm thrilled that the MFTs have been deployed to save it. Right. I really believe this. I know you always think I'm doing a bit. The Wyatts, terrible. DIY, terrible. Motor City Machine Guns, lovely idea and principle. Execution, terrible. Street Profits.
Execution, depressing.
Yeah. Street Profits, execution, depressing, forgotten about, etc. I truly believe. So when the MFTs, the heels, by the way, win the belts against the Wyatts, it's this good natural order of booking, but the reaction, like the Wyatts at the finisher, and half fans don't know it's the finish. That's the point. That's the point those belts are in. My belief is that when the MFTs lose those titles, they will have done a good enough job as heels that you actually stand to elevate some baby faces, and then it will be like proof of concept of what they're for. However, this is Ultimate Fantasy. I'm getting rid of them. Tag team unification, the Usos versus the MFTs. Open the show with it. Let the Samoans have their like big law moment. Four-ruler fellas, if you want. Garlands out the ace, right?
Out the ace.
It's unimportant, but you pretend it's not. That's Bloodline, baby. Like, you open the card with like the Usos big, like Yeet City Jones. Like, nobody's asking for Jey Uso in a prominent spot this year.
Unifications, I feel necessary for the tag team division because he's never been able to book two.
He's never committed to it. Like, even splitting it felt.
The Raw tag team division sucks ass.
It's awful, right?
If someone watches SmackDown, let's just say more avidly.
Yeah.
Not more often, more avidly. You know, I'll keep up with the highlights and whatnot. Is it even worse, the SmackDown tag division, than Raw?
It is and it isn't, right? Because there's loads more going on, but none of it's any good. So is that better or worse? You know what I mean? There's a quantity there, but then when you've got Fraxium and now not even DIY, just Johnny Gargano, like feuding over a stolen mask when like Axiom's got 6 more. It's like, and nobody else gets TV time and there's actually a third hour to use. You think, well, hang on, yes, there's more here, and you can knock out a TLC like to really show them like every 4 or 5 months, but that's worse, isn't it? The fact that you've got this division and you're not using it.
Yeah.
So I would say the MFTs defeat the Usos, like having really proven their worth, like over on SmackDown, fixers, as I truly believe them to be.
Yeah.
And like the Usos, this has been a kind of a token run for the Usos anyway, hasn't it, really? Yeah. And then you've solved that little belt problem. Yeah. Like, and it's you know, it's really easy to tell a quickie 4-week, we're the champions. Wait a minute, we're related. You know? Yeah. Like it's a feather. It's a feather in the cap of like Solo's whole deal is he actually says a thing and then it kind of happens. So the fact that he's getting a bit of revenge on Jimmy and Jay for how Bloodline collapsed is not like, it's, you know, it's fine. But it's opener stuff. It's just opening match fair. I'm not pitching it as any higher up the card.
It'll be over.
Yeah, it would be, I think. So it's like no higher up the card. Someone who will be over, same, Trick Williams. I'm less ambitious, but I like what feels like a necessity here. He defeats Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship. Hayes is a good, with Carmelo Hayes, they are doing what I thought was the one thing with him that would never be possible. Work rate babyface. Yeah. How boring was that in NXT? It was his worst thing in NXT, wasn't it? He's managed it. He's managed it on SmackDown. He's had a bit of that Miz dust and hook a crook, hella high water. It's kind of worked, but Trick's undeniable and the old perfect Sean Brett route. Doesn't hurt, does it?
No.
Doesn't hurt. I'm not saying he keeps that United States title for a long time, but belting a guy, you said it yourself, matches at WrestleMania sort of feel bigger by default.
Yes.
So him winning that belt at WrestleMania, if he loses it 2 weeks later, nobody's going to remember that bit. They're going to remember how he got his first major title on this massive stage. They've got the history, the chemistry, all that. It's another one really where I'm thinking post-Elimination Chamber. You put that story together quickly and it benefits. Like their chemistry was once very powerful.
And it's a generation of WWE fans, as you can tell by just how much interest there was. Even he's a generational bum, John Cena.
Yeah.
How much interest there was and how beloved he was and all the rest of it. So it's a generation of WWE fans plus more who either thought John Cena was great all along, actually, or really like this John Cena. To wit, when I watched WrestleMania 20, and it wasn't like, some big sort of insider scoop or insight. But you watch John Cena win that specific title on that show, and you think, all right, that's the next 3 years at least. Little were we to know.
It's IC stuff, isn't it?
Aye.
Yeah.
Little were we to know how long he was going to last in the main event. But as soon as he did that and won that, I'm thinking, all right, okay, that's it forever now. He's the guy. He is the guy. So like, if there's a parallel there that people will want to point out, our Trick is the guy. He's just won the first belt Cena won at Mania, you know? Like, WWE is a big competitive advantage in so many different ways to, like, maintain and just clear number 2 as number 1. Its own history and how they can sort of, you know, they're not going to say 2004 was one of the worst years in pro wrestling history. They're going to say, look at our big star went on his journey in 2004.
Yeah, we got him on his way and then failed to follow that pattern for like 15 years, and that's why nobody got over. Yeah, no commitment to it.
Yeah, they're not going to say that, though.
No. Right, my next one, straight up singles match, no gimmicks, but it sort of feels...
No gimmicks needed.
No gimmicks needed.
That was a massive one in 1999.
Oh, yeah.
When, like, there was such a backlash against, like, you know, the occupational gimmicks and, like, characters and flamboyant stuff, and like they even named Paul Whitehead for about a fortnight.
Chris Candido had it in ECW.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm just a wrestler.
This thing of like, God, I'm such a badass, cool guy who's great at technical wrestling. I don't need one of these gimmicks. No gimmicks needed. The ironic thing with Candido is that he was so much better when he was like on.
Yeah,
it's like a personality.
The clown. He was, he had it all. Yeah. There was a bit. So that's what this match is, but it's a bit of a throwback as well. I think
is it? Sorry, no gimmicks needed. Steve the Samurai. That Brit Res meme that comes out every now and then. That's good stuff.
That is good stuff. There's a bit of an AEW throwback to this match, and I think you'll see why when I name the two combatants, because I wouldn't say made my peace with it, but I've accepted the reality that Mr. Irvin, Chris Jericho will feature on
I forgot all about him. What's going on there?
Good. I'm glad you've forgotten. Maybe others will too.
It's not even like a viral mystery campaign and nothing.
I'm like the angry part of Bailey's head. I just can't shake it right now. Infected with the disease of the potential return of Chris Jericho. But what I accept is that I just assume he will be received with his WWE return, and indeed how probably he's presented as like a massive babyface. Early doors. Do you know what I mean? Like, people will, like, they'll ignore the insincerity of his face, of whatever he looks like. The entrance will be an enormous pop. Enormous. That Jericho flashing up is going to not quite be the same as, but it's going to rival that Chicago reveal, because it feels big, right? There's a sort of, it's not Cody level, it's not Punk level, but there's this, he's kind of his own tier of AEW return, Chris Jericho. And to that end, in the same vein as, I suppose I'll bloody take Will Ospreay then if I must. I think in this little political, everybody gets a bit of what they want. Chris Jericho versus Logan Paul.
Oh.
Logan Paul jumps around for him. Jericho's the worker. Gets him to hang on, let's try and make this good, kid. Like, let's see what you've actually got. But Paul creates a bunch of the movement. It's viral. Jericho, Judas affects a Prime bottle. Like, so he gets his, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's right up his street.
Yeah, I love that.
Logan Paul's like, it was my dream to wrestle Chris Jericho when I was watching Raw in 99. He's lying, but, you know, that's what he does, and Triple H, double point picture at the end. Look what I made. Look what I made, my little guys. All that kind of stuff. Like, Jericho gets his big way. Like, feels showcasey, you know? And Logan Paul, like, who are you again? All that kind of stuff. And he's like, you know, I'm Chris Jericho, bitch. Like the
counter pitch.
Go on him.
What if Jericho is the Prime bottle? That's how he makes his debut. Can you imagine? You know the good thing about 2012 Raw when it went 3 hours? God, Paul Heyman and CM Punk are actual heels.
Yeah.
What about a Heyman and Jericho double act?
Oh my God.
Leading the Vision.
You'd
hate them. You'd hate them.
That would be insufferable, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But it might work.
Yeah,
it might work. That's interesting. I'm looking.
The thought occurred to me.
I'm looking at Paul Heyman's eyes at the moment, and I think he knows when he's stuck with a mid card act rather than a headline one. He's got that Ryback Curtis Axel face on with the Vision at the moment, and he's looking for the next main eventer he can glom off, isn't he? You can see it. Jericho and Heyman might be a long term play, you know. Could see that. But that was my little pitch. An easy babyface return win for Jericho, but the idea of the capital M moments and the virality and the we're kind of the last guys to be massive stars, isn't that right, Logan Paul?
Yeah.
That kind of, you know. That'd be ace.
The Judas effect to the Prime Ball.
Yeah.
Love that.
Whoever he's got in it. Right. I'm going to go to the main event and I want to circle back to something because there's two matches that relate to booking rather than the matches themselves.
Okay.
So the main event, there's a bit of a narrative around my two WrestleManias, which is thank God for the women's division last year. All right. So on the undercard, this isn't the ladder match, that's night two. But I've got a women's US Invitational, which is a chuck them on the card. Paydays, rewards, call it whatever you want, right? And this is just a list of names, pick your spats. US Championship Invitational, Julia, Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, Sol Ruka, Lola Vice, JC Jane, no. She just lost the title at Stand and Deliver the night before. So that's why she's made it on as like the sixth woman in the WrestleMania match. Like, it just works. Like, they all deserve spots. Like, the women's division, I think, like, shone in an otherwise fairly sort of bleak WWE creatively last year. So that's just that. And I say that because it's like, fine, it's the US title. Chelsea Green can win it if you like. Again, stages, elevate things. The entrances will be very good for, like morale to be like, look, you actually, sorry when it's rubbish.
Sorry about that.
But here's some massive big entrances and capital M moments. Lola Vice, like, gets a nice, she was good in the Rumble.
That's what, if you wonder what noise did Sid just make there? Whenever she does the hip attack in the corner on NXT television, Booker T goes, one
of many of his cum noises, isn't it?
Yeah.
WrestleMania, double soul snatcher, all that stuff. Like, it gets over in the building on the night, and it's more for them. It's a morale booster. It'll be like, yeah, here's some, sort of indication. And that's why I'm going to go to the main event, right? There is 2 more matches to go on this card. I'll explain myself. The main event is the World Heavyweight Championship, the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, right? So, prior to the match, Liv Morgan says, Stephanie Vaquer, I want you. And it's Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World title, right? And the Royal Rumble had said, it's going to be a main event. And Liv Morgan's like, great, main event, Stephanie Vaquer, we're going to fight for the world title. But en route to WrestleMania, watch me, she screws Rio out of the tag titles in a defense against Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, who become the new tag team champions. And she's like, Judgment Day run WrestleMania, and Rhea and Io, I've ruined your life yet again, like that. And Postman Pace is like, well, that's not on. Like, I'm going to ruin your life, Liv Morgan, and I'm going to put them both in the main event. Fatal 4-way, you're similar to what you were saying about Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Like, when do you actually revisit there? But you're not giving away the singles match. Rhea Ripley, main event star. Stephanie Vaquer with this, like, seemingly insurmountable challenge here. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. Kind of the three best.
The nucleus.
Yeah, in a 4-way. With a little bit of Wilborn here because the multi-women and men matches did work last year. And that becomes your main event. Big stars.
It's funny because I was told in the months preceding WrestleMania that they were terrible.
Yeah. It's a proper, all-on-the-card, shameless bit of carnyism, really. But, like, I think the match would deliver too, and you've got a story that gets you there as well.
Absolutely.
And, like, Liv's kind of screwed herself that one-on-one opportunity. She could still win the title if you wanted, but she's lost that one-on-one thing, Now, that's the main event. And I think that's I think Triple H is due, quite honestly, like putting the women in one of the main events. You've got 2 EUs every year. And how I met, like, remind the women that this is, the veneer of parity, if not parity itself.
Yes.
So we're going to go to the undercard for the WWE Championship, and not just because currently it's on Drew McIntyre in real life. Because it ain't on him in mine, all right? We've done some sort of jiggery pokery, can't quite figure that out yet, don't need to. But Gunther has defeated Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. Clean all that up, right? Road to WrestleMania. Gunther's got the WWE title.
The actual top heel gets the top belt, how it should work.
Yeah. And because Gunther's won the title, Cody Rhodes is free from that no more title shots against Drew McIntyre business. So Cody Rhodes has managed to win whatever you like to get a match against Gunther. Huge, right? WWE title on the line. Gunther versus Cody Rhodes, WWE Championship. Meanwhile, because of the overlapping fooheads, Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre will have a street fight. It's revealed that Drew was the one that knocked his teeth out in this backstage attack. It's already tried to ruin Jacob's life, and he's come back. He's got embroiled with stuff with Cody, and it was, he was the straw stirring the drink, Jacob. Like that. So they have to have a street fight, whatever. Jacob can win that at WrestleMania. However, you're going to love this. because of all this has really happened kind of between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, hasn't it? How's Gunther got the belt? We don't know, right? Drew McIntyre, what's he do? He loves whinging about being screwed, right?
Yeah, I got screwed. Screwed.
Come on. And SmackDown GM, can't remember his name, is like,
It's Nick Aldis.
thank you. All right, I'll give you one more match. Thank you. They have. Drew will love this, and WWE should absolutely steal this and replicate it, copy their own homework. On the Go Home SmackDown, they do a steel cage WWE title match between Gunther and Drew McIntyre, where the Jacob Fatu and Cody have to help their own opponent win, because then that's the match that becomes the WWE title. Yeah, I'm doing Bret and Austin and Sid and Undertaker, baby. How have they never nicked that again? How have they never nicked that again? The rivals have to help each other win. And that's like, it plays out where Gunther beats Drew.
I don't know, cry baby.
Like, that, like, last-ditch effort on the SmackDown in Vegas, if you want. Literally 24 to 40 hours before the match is due to take place, you've got this cage match where, like, Gunther's fighting Drew, and it's, like, hard-hitting and all that, but then Cody's climbing the cage, like, what's Cody doing? Why is he helping Gunther? Oh, yeah, fans, gang, because he wants his match.
Yeah.
Now, here comes Jacob. Why is Jacob helping? Oh, my God. Like, chaos drama and that, and the matches stay the same. But, like,
yeah.
But what a cool way to heat up both those matches, because the WWE title picture's boring.
Very.
I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to snap it into life. So that's why none of it main events, by the way. That's how the women, like, have that slot assured, is because you've been able to, with it lifted away from the main event pressure, you can dick about a bit with the WWE title.
I'm not one to preview SmackDown, but my God, I'm actually perversely looking forward to the various ways in which they're thinking. It's a bit boring, this, and yeah, Roman and Punk did what they did, but, you know, that's business. Let's overcorrect and try and make it interesting.
Yeah.
What on earth are they going to do?
We need a lost smile.
And what are you going to do when night 2 of WrestleMania 42 runs wild on you?
Good. He's not booked, is he?
No, he's dead.
Good.
So opening the show, because there has to be some name value somewhere, is I wanted a profile for Javon Evans.
Nice.
Like, I think that I don't see it as much as other people see it. I, in fact, see an inherent WWE bias, and to be fair, being number one affords you this, of guy who is well regarded internally, gets a push, instantly computes in some people's minds as, well, he's going to be a main event or he's going to be an next top star. I can't see him welcoming people to Monday Night Raw. I really can't.
Mm-hmm.
I like his personality, but I don't think it's theirs.
Okay.
We'll see. But nonetheless, he's still incredibly exciting. He's on the rise. People have gravitated towards him. It would be a stupid mistake not to present him at WrestleMania, particularly given the clear steps taken to position him as one to watch at the Royal Rumble. It would have been Randy Orton, but then I remembered that they had a Turcarino on NXT with a botch finish. So Drew has been pushed this year. He's a former champion. People seem to like him. Drew versus Javon. It's a bit whatever Javon gets a win at WrestleMania, which counts for so much when promoting talents.
Yep.
So that is my reasoning there. Where are we?
If you were worried about the silence, it was because obviously Drew McIntyre's arrived.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
I was just looking at his message, quite frankly. That's the bad thing about doing this when you're reading from your phone. I've got United States title ladder match. Actually, no, it's better than yours because it's TLC, so I'll win. It just, every year, I say I don't want to see one ever again. And I watched them, like this year's at SummerSlam, and thought, God, these are great. No wonder Bookers just love them. You've got this rotating cast of mid-carders who are never that over, could be more over. They work hard all year. Let's throw them a little bone. So here's a SmackDown-shaped bone for the US title.
Okay.
It is Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov versus Aleister Black versus Sami Zayn versus Johnny Gargano versus your man Solo Sikoa. Now let's go. Carmelo Hayes deserves a WrestleMania spot really for how he's quietly got over this year. Ilya Dragunov possibly doesn't because he's not that over. But in a match like this, he's going to really hurt himself.
Yep.
He's going to commit to it. This is his, if he deserves one, and he probably does just for what he's done for Trick Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He probably deserves a WrestleMania moment for like really sort of like just basically determining is Trick Williams got something because he's so awesome. He's so much of a star, but he's bobbins in the ring. Has he got something? Ilya Dragunov proved, yes, he has.
Yeah.
It might take a generational effort to get it out of him, but he's got it. So Dragunov deserves a spot, and he will hurt himself, and badly, right, to make it a big thing, a big deal. Aleister Black, not over, doesn't deserve it. However, his entrance at Mania would look probably cool, and he did something so awesome once in a ladder match where I'm like, oh my God, you've actually made your, whatever you have, or whatever you think you are, a spooky presence, an actual supernatural mind, a teleporter, what? Him making a ladder look like a poltergeist. Remember when it was leaning against the ropes and he moved the ropes and he made the ladder move?
That was good, that.
That's the coolest thing you've ever done in your life. It would go down a massive storm at WrestleMania, so just do it and then get the hell out because you're not winning. Shush me, didn't get pinned. Sami Zayn needs something to do.
I'm not got him. I
don't know,
didn't include him.
I don't have Randy Orton. That is an indictment considering his story is played out at WrestleMania under Levesque, but my God. Put it this way, this is why people say Karrion Kross isn't good. Because he's like the anti-CM Punk. Like CM Punk was bragging the other week about, just this week actually, about how people think Roman had the best promo of his life. It's funny how all this stuff happens when I'm in the ring with them, isn't it? Karrion Kross is the opposite. Like with Sami Zayn, it's like you've killed him.
Yeah.
What have you killed him for?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he's in this match because there's nowhere else for him. And Johnny Gargano, Solo Sikoa, people like him. He's a big part of SmackDown. I think it's not just you two having a meme. Like, it's worked, the founders level. And Johnny Gargano, again, along the lines of the Dragunov thing of like, do you want to work this ice? You got something in mind for your Johnny? Triple H in this scenario. What is it, boss? Well, Johnny, we're thinking, United States title. Great! Okay, well, you're going to make up the numbers a little bit. No, you'll always get your main event next year. Multi-man ladder match, United States title. What do you say? You up for it? I'd fall off 2 ladders if I could! So that's why he's in the match.
Good, yeah. I get the look, the pitch checks out.
And that is the match. What do you thought?
Oh, okay. I thought you were teeing up the next one.
I am. I saw. I just got a message that I kind of need to answer, but I can't right now because I'm in the middle of a podcast.
It's like, I'm guilty of it on both my nights. I've got a ladder match on night 2. Maybe I just made it a TLC to compete with yours. But you're right.
Keep talking. I just need to send a very, very quick message. I know this is unprofessional.
It's the oh God, what a hospital pass to try and filibuster on ladder matches in, in the big 26. It is the thing they do. We've done it as we have had the keys to any WrestleMania fantasy, and both of us have booked mid-carders and ladder matches.
When you're a grown-up, you'll get this kind of message. If you're a parent, you'll get this kind of message. And you think, oh, God, way to ruin the flow of that podcast. How unprofessional. And then one day you'll get it. I will proceed to my next match.
I feel you made my stomach hurt.
Yeah.
It's
fine. It's fine. It will. Hopefully it'll be fine, but I think it's fine. It's nothing too bad. Tag Team Showcase, Blokes Edition.
Okay.
It is what it is. I've explained why it's happening. It's Fraxium versus the Usos versus the New Day, because they deserve something, I guess, at WrestleMania. That isn't a Bobbins match against the War Raiders after one of the angles of the year.
Yeah.
Because Penta feels like he's 50-50 on that mid-card right now on Raw. Feels like he's reached his ceiling.
Hasn't made my card. Penta.
And Phoenix is doing nothing. After his performance last year at Mania, after his run, he probably doesn't deserve much, but it already feels like the Lucha Bros is the last sort of chance they have of getting it right. Maybe Penta's got a higher ceiling, but out of a Lucha Bros making up the numbers in the Tag Team Showcase. just the prophecy has kind of been fulfilled there.
Yeah.
So it's not very interesting. It's a bit, you book these matches when you can't book a division, but really, who can book a tag team division these days, for Christ's sake? There's not a single pay-per-view where you're like, you need a third tag team match because this division is such health. Get the feeling it's, if anyone tried to sit down and do it, it would really be quite hard, but whatever. 3 matches left for night 2. My women's title matches, because I love their chemistry. I feel like it really helped Liv Morgan ascend to the level she is, and it would be a perfect kind of sense for them to do this match. It's Io Sky versus Liv Morgan for the women's title. As you can see, I have an incredibly dim view of that SmackDown women's title scene.
Yeah.
Hence why I've just split Raw across the 2 nights. But it's my fantasy. It's my idea. Jade Cargill, I don't think. She seems like a nice person. Talk to her. She is a nice person.
Yeah.
I don't think this wrestling thing's for her necessarily.
Yeah.
Maybe a tag team wrestler, but even then, those matches were kind of plagued by botches. She's certainly not making the best WrestleMania card I can think of. I'm sorry. Chelsea Green. There was a discourse about, she was complaining that it really hurt her feelings on Unreal to hear Michael Hayes say, great for 30 seconds. Christ almighty, I think that's such a benefit. And then it's opened up a discourse of like, well, does everyone have to be a main eventer? If you're a wrestler, you do.
Both are true. She should think it, but also she's very, very smart she'll know what that value is too.
Yeah.
She's got to out loud say that I want all of it.
Yeah.
She'll also know I was watching that and thinking the exact same thing. I was like, if you heard that about yourself, it'd sting. But you also take the positive from it and be like, that's one of the best positives on this entire roster.
She could have a longevity of loads of longevity in her career. She's got such an act that people love. We spoke to a Belfast taxi driver who just out of nowhere volunteered that he loved Chelsea Green. She just makes that impression on people. She always gets pops, even in towns that don't really pop for nothing. But convention circuit money forever for a character like an actor like Chelsea Green, where there's a load of so-called good wrestlers, better workers who ain't gonna get that. She's not making the card though. Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. I don't think there's a necessarily great story here, but I'm not a WWE story guy anyway. It's all about giving Liv Morgan that WrestleMania moment. God, I hate myself for saying things like this, but you know, they do matter. They do count.
Yeah.
Of
more than life itself.
Shut up. Yeah, she has really put in the work to graft. She deserves that title on that stage, and I think that's the best match with which to arrive at it. Now, a bit of Reddit pilled, I'm 16 years old again on WrestleZone forums or wherever I was. Bit of fantasy booking here.
Okay.
Because it is the Battle of the Ultimate Badasses.
Okay.
And it's something that was teased heavily throughout, well, basically since one of them arrived on the scene, or both. People thought that's a WrestleMania match. It's never really turned into a WrestleMania match, except it's going to here right now. The story that they're telling, really, is that Bron Breakker's out of control on Raw. And he is he's threatening the sanctity of the broadcast. He was out first on Raw this week. Like, this show isn't happening until I get what I want. He's kind of like unhinged right now, is Bron Breakker. I don't think it's a separate development. It's probably just a coincidence. It's a narrow range of possibilities you can draw from when booking a wrestling show. But Jacob Fatu's kind of out of control as well, right? What if, like, Aldis and Pierce, like, they're respectively going out of control and, like, they're building the idea, and you always draw a comparison between which one's better, actually, Jacob Fatu or Bron Breakker, when you have wrestlers who are very similar on different shows and on different companies. And, like, what if Aldis goes, I've got nothing for you, Jacob, at WrestleMania. You're too out of control. I can't reward this behavior. Meanwhile, to the word, Pierce says this to Breakker on Raw. And let's have the ultimate battle of the badasses going, well, we're kind of, you are over, so let's have a match against each other. Just an excuse for 10 minutes of meathead bliss.
Yeah.
10 minutes of meathead bliss.
You know, it'd be pretty cool as well. It's very, very pro wrestling, right? For the GMs to agree this and then call it unsanctioned. But have it unsanctioned and like smash up a bit of the WrestleMania set.
Yes.
We didn't want them to, this is why
This is the one
This is why we couldn't
thing.
sanction it. And like
Yeah.
it's like really lovely set, and like, but one of the walls is just there. It's like the NXT podium. It exists. You don't realize it until you see it happen. But then the rest of the show has to happen with half a wall missing, because that's what Ultimate Badasses do.
That's what Ultimate Badasses do. I just want to see the match. I want them to commit as well to a finish of like which one, because like that's a problem with so much of modern wrestling, and it gets like thrown up in the discourse and review cycle every single week is, well, which one am I investing in? Which one is it? Kyle Fletcher? Is it Braun Breaker? Who's on the cusp? Who isn't?
Yep.
Who is the one where I'm like, I will back you to the hill because I know you're going somewhere.
That's why we're all booking Trick Williams and everything we can at the moment. Everybody
Yeah.
feels it universally, and it's like so difficult in wrestling at the moment to just get that.
I've seen a lot on Twitter overnight of, why don't we just give it Andrade till the end of the season then?
Yeah.
That was the conversation going on Twitter. Like, why don't they do Andrade versus Brody King at Revolution? I mean, it's not. It's going to be the opposite of that. But I can understand there's these top divisions across the two mainstream US promotions are very, very, very familiar looking and feeling. So this is just a match designed to go, right, okay, it's this one, back them, and go on the journey for the rest of the year, because at WrestleMania 43, one of these is in the title match.
If this was 1999, there's two divisions full of X-Pacs, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like that guy, when he came back in 1998 and he was despised and loathed by the summer of 1999, we've been talking over the desks about wrestlers that have been in virtually the same spot for like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
You mentioned Rhea Ripley. It was Hangman Page we were talking about, and it's like, oh, hang on. Maybe there's something that's not being isolated for scrutiny here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
And the main event, you know what it is. Process of Elimination. It's the biggest match they've got. Everything in my brain at some point goes back to WrestleMania 6. It's the two best, so let them have the fight and find out who the best is. Just felt like the biggest deal in the world. The biggest deal in the world, with these ridiculous bronzed gods. These goated looking guys. And the two best goodies are fighting each other. What? Watch, crunch, pay the money, you get the money, the business continues.
By the time people watch this, and maybe even listen to it, they might have already, well, they will have definitely listened to the SmackDown preview, where I tried to find a comparison for Drew McIntyre. As we're recording this, SmackDown hasn't happened yet. We don't know what Drew McIntyre's response is going to be. By the time you're watching it, you will know. But like, I was trying to find an example that was kind of a Drew McIntyre than CM Punk and Roman Reigns, because they were often. But like, and the one I landed on, and this is why I'm going to bring this up, was Kurt Angle in 2001, because you had to go to Rock and Austin at WrestleMania 17. But the year started with Kurt Angle on top.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a slight on Kurt Angle. You had to go to Rock and Austin.
Yeah.
You had to get the belt off Rock. You had to have him nowhere near a main event, unfortunately. But he was Kurt Angle. He won the gold medal with a broken freaking neck. Drew McIntyre should be warmed or healed somewhat by that comparison. It is okay when there are top guys who are actual top guys, and it ain't you. Like, as it happens, they're not going with Rock and Austin in Cody and Punk. They're going with different directions, and he might factor in. But it took me to think about that and being like, you can still take the WWE title off Drew and it not be some sort of slight. The slight is the two main eventers that buried him for not being one.
Yes.
But in the booking, you can still keep him over. You know, there's a match for Drew in the same way I know Benoit, but Benoit was a match for Kurt Angle. It was like, hey, he was just a WWE champion, and now he's going to have this like technical classic.
Yeah.
There's something for Drew McIntyre out there that
no, it's just not the main event.
Without him taking the belt into WrestleMania, yeah. Your card's better than mine. You win. My subheading for night 2 is reality check, because the more I've looked at this, it's just like, oh, it might just be the card. Maybe that's why I wasn't super enthusiastic before we came to the studio, and why you were, because what you've done cleverly is like present things you want to watch. I've tried to look at Raw and SmackDown and craft a card, and I want to watch yours more.
Yeah.
What's that say?
It's fantasy booking.
Yeah. And often my fantasy is just every Monday, every Friday, 52 weeks a year, baby. But there's a few flashpoints here, but most of it's just what's going to happen. So I ain't got much to talk about. Might just reverse order this bitch, actually, because the main event is already announced. The CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, the world title. It's
we have gone long, so it's fine.
It's fine. Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee for the Intercontinental title. Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi, Ultimate Badass.
Ultimate Badass.
Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins, because you got to. I'm gonna go
reality booking with Michael Hamflett.
Reality check. I'm gonna go with hope rather than expectation, because God, I hope she's all right. Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill.
Aye.
Like, I'm kind of with you on Jade Cargill, but that is a match you go to and you do it at WrestleMania if you can. Proper
stuff. What the hell's going on with Bianca Belair?
I know. I hope she's all right.
Again,
genuinely.
I would have her. She should have been Miss WrestleMania. The dead woman instead of the dead man, because she should be the better Undertaker because she's actually better than him.
It's worth remembering.
But like
we talk necks and we talk knees and backs and everything. There are more bones in one of these fingers than like a BSK meetup. Like, it must be bad that like she lost the whole year to it. Hope she's all right. Hope she's back. The Elimination Chamber's got lovely lore with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair with which to build that. So like, I hope it to Will Borner, it just works. Like, need we say more? Bianca versus Jade. Dirty Dom defending the Intercontinental title in a 3-way. I've got against Javon and LA Knight because I would like LA Knight to lose that. Like, he's at that really interesting to me. Something's got to give point in 2026.
Yeah.
LA Knight.
I didn't even factor him in here.
Well, and I understand that.
Randy Orton, I know, is way more over than I ever thought possible in the Big 26. And realistically, he should be on that card. I just never, there's not a single Randy Orton match that I ever want to watch ever again.
I get that. I'm kind of into Orton at the moment, but I didn't factor him in here either.
Yeah.
If anything, his omission does sort of set up a nice post-WrestleMania run against Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
So I always think that's there for them, you know. Dirty Dom, Javon Evans, and LA Knight. LA Knight doesn't win, and that matters, because then it kind of becomes like Money in the Bank or bust for the character as well as the booking. It's like, I've got to win a big title here. What am I doing? I'm LA Knight. I'm massive. Javon or Dom? Do you put Javon? Why not? Like, you give Javon the Intercontinental title, but Dominic retaining. And I know he lost it to Cena in the middle, but the idea is like, this is what I do. I come to WrestleMania. I'm the Intercontinental champion.
Yes.
I'm Mr. Perfect, if anything. You know, like Dominic Mysterio has become this contemporary guy, you know?
Yeah.
Or you put Javon over and it's nice. Either work. My ladder match is women's tag, which is the champions per my night one main event of Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, defending against the Kabuki Warriors, the Bella Twins, Charlotte and Alexa, Nia, Jackson Lash Legend, and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah.
Just
I can't. A gauntlet.
No, women's division TLC bump fest City Jones.
Oh, why the hell not?
Yeah, that's my only ladder match of the weekend, so it's getting used. Again, the narrative of like women's division, loads of profile this year, and they get that ladder match, they get the main event, all that sort of stuff.
That makes more sense than mine, I think.
And like, because the
I've
IC
got a load of boring dudes who are barely over in mine, really.
Yeah,
That's not good.
but the ladders help everyone.
Yeah.
It's because I've got Becky and AJ for my proper heated story for the IC title.
I deliberately no Becky Lynch, no Randy Orton on mine.
Well, the one thing that isn't a match, but I have included it as night 2. It is interesting. I'm noticing that The Miz, I really love this locker room leader shtick. I love it because it's such a funny subversion. A, that The Miz is doing it, and B, that nobody respects it.
Yeah.
All that happens is he walks around as some young punk. Last week it was Ilya Dragunov, the week before it was Carmelo Hayes. Like, he wants to be the Undertaker because he got Undertaker out the ass.
Yeah.
And now nobody respects him enough to be the Undertaker.
It's too much of a weakling to kick the card.
Yeah, in 2026 year of The Miz, and just nobody respects. So he comes out, gives it the big, and like, it's WrestleMania, and I'm not even on the card. Like, I'm a locker room leader around here. I'm like the biggest star. They're like, these young kids running around like they don't know a star like The Miz. They've never seen a star like The Miz. Psh, Steve Austin comes out, drops him on that stack of dimes you call pubes, and it's like, shout out Deadlock Podcast. And like locker room leader The Miz like gets disrespected once again, but by Stone Cold Steve Austin with a stunner as your nice little bit of fun ski.
I love
like
that. Speaking of fun, let's have a little bit of fun to round things off. What is your theme?
Oh,
music theme. I don't have one, but
at the moment they've gone with Aerosmith, haven't they? But because it's Vegas, and I just think it would be weird, right? And they might not be in Vegas again for a long time to come after this, and they milked a lot of the like Vegas iconography with the set last year and all of that. Old Vegas and Viva Las Vegas by Elvis Presley. Like, it's just different, isn't it? It's not it's not the Aerosmith like kind of chud adjacent rock that they like. It's not the
to be fair, they've gone away from that for a while.
This year's a return to that, and it's I agree. It's not been like oppressive. I loved Fiend, but I think everybody needs time away from Travis Scott, including WWE.
Yes.
So yeah, like Old Vegas becomes the theme of it. And it's just like, because it's a nice aesthetic that like, so you've got they've used kind of the strip of the kind of like over the top grandiosity. This is more just like dick loads of bulbs. You know, like the kind of Fremont Street old casinos, like the signs that are starting to be a bit rickety and things like that. But like the Vegas that you see in the old movies.
Old movie
Vegas and Bright Light City gonna suck my cock. Like,
Bright Light City gonna suck my cock. Didn't really think about this. I just thought it'd be interesting to ask. Look, I've got this thing where sometimes a marriage of images and sound, even if I don't like either of them together, just work. It's bizarre. One can complement the other. If they want any chance of getting me, they can do Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. The idea being that loose premise of like, I'm the king of this, actually.
Cody and Punk to Everyone Wants to Rule the World would be so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because they both think that they're the rulers.
Like the B-roll.
They got Obafemi in my fantasy booking.
There's a room where the light can't find you, and it's like some B-roll of Punk slamming a door behind him because he'd walked away from it all.
Yeah, it's a room where the light can't find
like cut to
you.
Cody Rhodes bursting back at WrestleMania 38.
Through the thing.
I'm getting like Goosey's thinking about this. So glad we almost made, like coming together from the prior years. Jesus Christ, make video editors that can do this, please.
Please.
I'm gonna cry. Can you make this video? Oh, Nicholas, you could do this. Can somebody make this video, please? Oh my God. Anyway. Welcome to your OVW. Dun, dun,
Welcome
Ring of
to your life.
Then kind of. There's no turn. Cody looking back at Dusty. There's no turning back.
Even while you
sleep.
They can like be on a tour bus just knackered because they're working so hard for your affection.
Oh my God. Ah, Sidgwick wants to rule. They're both holding up the world.
Both holding up the respective world titles. There can only be one. Put that on the notes on the bullet point. We create the best video package of all time.
Yeah, we've done it.
Anyway, I feel
that's coming from some kind of way.
I feel some kind of way. If you feel some kind of way, let us know in the comments below. And while you're down there, love, you can give us decide who's won the fantasy booking, me or Hamflett, and let us know your fantasy booking cards if you can be asked as well. Hamflett, when are you releasing this?
Don't know, but the podcast audio will be out over the weekend.
Okay, well, you can listen to it, and then you can look forward the week after for the usual coverage. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, you get it.
Guess who's Smack? Smack again. Sidge is Smack. Tell a friend, because Wilbon's off on Monday.
We'll be joining SmackDown. So when the fun stops, stop. The fun's going to stop on Monday, so look forward to that. Thank you very much for joining us today. Do not forget to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. So awesome that you continue. If you've made it 1 hour, 24 minutes, 27 seconds to listen to this, you're the best. All the other ones suck. See you later.